we're just taking a few minutes to harmonize and just get really present right here, right now, with this group and with yourself. So give yourself permission to just rest right now and let go of whatever is not serving you in this moment. And just feel the space inside of you where you're safe and you can sense that all is well. You can begin to tap into the lightness that is the truth of your being. That's what you are at the core. And just release everything that's not that. Acknowledge that you took time out of your day to be here, that you took time for yourself, that this is a commitment towards creating your best life. So honor yourself for that. So as you start to ground in to this moment now, if your eyes are closed, just open them when you're ready. And welcome to our second online gathering, guys. So if I don't know who's here based on last week, but our intention is to focus this weekly gathering towards meditation on maybe not always meditation, but just towards creation. So creating what you're wanting to create in the world for yourself and learning how to do that in a way that's easy and free flowing and fun and and getting clear on what it is. So maybe you want to create something but you don't know what that is, or you do know what you want to create and you just don't know how to get that going. So we're not just talking about our dreams anymore, we're actually making them happen, like right now. Like it's no joke anymore, we're going to do that. And we can do it together. And Callie and I are just feeling really excited about supporting you in that process of really grounding your dreams into like your life right now. Like, let's stop talking about it and actually make it happen. So that's what our highest excitement is. Callie, can you still hear me, or is my
Your volume is a little bit low.
okay? Let me go grab my headphones if I can find them. So if you just want to like continue, then go for it.
Yeah. Yeah, but like Hannah was saying, for us, it's really about making this happen now. Because I don't know about you guys, it's like, and I think, especially, I think a lot of you are these like super light beings and really creative and on maybe a spiritual path. But I don't know about you guys, but for me, it was like kind of getting lost in the processing of it all, trying to like, clean myself up so I'm the clearest channel that I could be before I actually started taking action. But what I see is the power that when we actually start to align to our bigger vision and start to make it a reality, like here and now in the physical, then it's like our self-realization path or whatever your spiritual journey is, it starts to come to fruition. Like we start to have something that we can focus our mind on, because otherwise it's like we can get lost in the triggers and the life and like the journey, and like we can start to get lost in all these concepts, like trying to figure it out, where it's like, wait, we can just have fun. Like as we empty out, we get just to have fun and start to play and create and start to share our gifts into the world. Like, why are we here? Like, why are we really here? And I don't know about you, but like for me, it was like, I don't know why I'm here. Like, why? I don't know what my purpose is. Like, why am I here? And it's like, whoa, it's actually really simple. And so Hannah and I came together and we're like, whoa, this is actually really, really simple. Like a really simple process that we can help support people through. So it doesn't have to be this long drawn out way of like needing to work hard. It's like, even for us to make this creation process happen, we only got the idea last week, like last Wednesday. And within 24 hours, less than 24 hours, we just like, fuck it. Like, let's just start a Facebook group page and like start an event. And we had like 60 some people like last week and 100 people in the group. And it's like, hey, it's happening. Like, it's just happening. And from that, the energy grows and like we get more inspiration and more ideas and more expansiveness. And it starts to be not about me and my journey and like what's going on in my mind or my processes. And it starts to become about something so much bigger. And I feel like we all have that. And we all have our unique essence of why we're here and what we want to create. And I just see it like all kind of flowing together, as one person has an idea, it's like, oh, me too. And like, oh, well, I'm good at IT and I'm good at like design and I'm good at this. And we can all just start to come together to support that. It's not really about me doing it alone anymore, but first getting really clear, like, what is it that you want? Do you even know? Like, do you even know? Or maybe you're clear, but how could it get even bigger than that? Like, how can we start to really expand our vision and our creativity and think outside the box? The mind wants to think in like black or white or this or that, but it's like there could be like, there's like infinite possibilities of ways that you can choose, and you get to create this life. You're already creating it. So what do you have in front of you? And how do you want to expand from there and move from there?
Yeah, so it's like me and Callie are really excited about bridging this gap that we're seeing, about, like so many people who are, in that kind of healing process or like evolutionary process, but are ready to start creating. Even if they're still going through a process, it's perfect. But how can we create, at the same time, and move forward in our lives at the same time as we're evolving, and at the same time as we're having these really deep realizations about ourselves and why we're here? And so we really just noticed that gap of like, how can we help people like jump over almost, or like bridge, or learn how to create, um, in a way that's like zero effort, like literally zero effort. Like effort is not allowed, stress is not allowed, overwhelm, like none of that stuff is, it's just none, and even with me and Callie, it's like we are learning so much about, how to share this with people, because I think we've both been doing this like just really well on our own, and then coming together, it's been like, oh wow, like it's such a powerful way to show people how it's literally effortless manifestation. And from us just having an idea of like, okay, let's just start doing these free, online gatherings for people, like we already have our first, like celebrity clients almost. It's like this woman, she cooks and for Share and like all the celebrities in LA, because we're in LA right now. And we're just helping her and her creative partner, just think even bigger and communicate better and like create in a way that's just so fun and effortless. And Callie, maybe you want to speak more to that if you want to. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and it's been really fun because it's like, it's helping people get out of the old ways of what we think work has to be. Like, you need to work hard to, get a certain outcome. Or like for me, it was like in the old way of like, okay, like if I stress, like then I'll actually kick myself in butt, like to get something going. And like when I met with these two clients, first and foremost, like we were like, drop all plans. We're just gonna play because they want to get out of like she wants to get out of the cooking and into like a fun new fitness, like because like she wants to work like in her partner is like a personal trainer, and it's like they want to start creating like a whole new brand. Like it's not working out, it's like how can we get together to just play and have fun. And so like we just like scrapped everything and we just like put on music, put on costumes, and started playing and like working out together in that fun way. And it was like this is our work. And then from that play, then so many ideas came, and we're able to like support them and align them to their blueprint of what they've always been doing, like since birth. It's so natural, they've always been doing it, they just weren't aware of what they were doing. And one of the partners, like his blueprint is just to like break people out of their box and just have wild, crazy, sexy fun. Like, and that's it. And like once you know like your kind of blueprint and your calling, you can go into anything, and it's like that's all you need to do. And you don't even need to try, it's just happening automatically. So it's just helping people get clear of like what their blueprint is and what their unique essence is, and then learning how to create together and actually align to a bigger vision. Because what they were doing is one thought they had one vision, one thought they had another one, and then they were just kind of like, and there's a little bit of friction between, and like all it was like they each had their own different languaging, and I was able to like unite them both together and align to something that was bigger than themselves. So then it's like whenever problems or anything comes up, you just align to the bigger vision, and then it becomes so effortless. And it's not about you, it's not about like even the two of us, like Hina and I. It's like we keep aligning to something that's so much bigger, and then it's just playing with that. And it's like as soon as I noticed like any kind of friction in the field, or even when Hina and I were working on this, it was like we noticed it started to get heavy when we were trying to figure out the step-by-step process, and we're like, screw this, let's go to the beach. So we stopped right there in our tracks, and we're like, let's go to the beach. And we shut the door, we left all the papers in the computer, and we ran to the beach, and there it came. Like, and we didn't even try. We're like, let's not even think about it. Like, let's just play on the beach. And then like it just came effortlessly. So it's really retraining the brain and becoming so aware of like what thoughts and what frequency and where you are, and then keep aligning to that. And anytime the stress or anxiety, you can speak to it, or shift things up, like go dance, go play, like what is it that you love to do. So it's like that's also what we want to bring in, is connecting people back into play, and their like innocence, and that light that's within, that's going to be so differently expressed through each being.
Yeah. And so it's like, first getting really honest with ourselves. Like, you guys are on this call for a reason. Like, we're so clearly calling it a creation process, and you're here because you want to create, or you're curious about how to create in a new way. Right. So it's like starting there. And I don't know how many of you are actually in our Facebook group, but we posted in the Facebook group for people to just start getting clear on what they feel excited about creating and what that feels like to them. And not a single person responded in an actual response to that homework. Not a single person did. And so it's like, okay, wow, like that's where we're starting then, like what stopped you from going into that exercise and like having fun with that, and like asking yourself, like, what do you actually want? What do you want that you're scared of asking for? What's stopping you from even admitting that you want something in a one sentence, like typed out one sentence on a Facebook group, like post? So it's like we all get to take a really hard look at like what we're holding in ourselves. Like, let's get so honest. We have to get so honest with what we're holding right now, and almost like stop pretending that we want to create anything, because our actions say otherwise. So it's like our wants are not aligned with our actions. I mean, they're always aligned, so apparently it's like you don't want it. But it's about getting honest, you know? And so, what we felt inspired to kind of support you guys through today and hold a space for today is like, let's ask ourselves, like, what is holding us back from actually like believing we can start this process of creating something that's going to change our lives and the lives of other people, you know? And so, it's like, um, we're really wanting to just like go there in ourselves for maybe like 15 minutes or so. Like, let's just ask ourselves, and it's going to be uncomfortable, and there's going to be resistance, maybe like, oh, this is stupid, like this isn't fun, like I'm going to leave this call, you know. And notice that, and notice what your actions say about that. But we're really inviting you to stop and get like really clear about, okay, I said I wanted to create something, or I think I want to create something, but then I'm not even like getting clear on what that is or sharing what that is. So I'm not even taking the first step into manifesting that because I can't even speak it out loud. So what's stopping you from speaking it out loud? What's holding you back? What's the belief saying? Like, why don't you think you can do this? Why don't you think you're allowed to want the crazy, like, big picture things that you want? What limited belief are you holding in yourself that's saying you're not worthy of this? So, we're really inviting you in this space right now to just feel into that. Like, feel into the parts of you that are scared, maybe, of receiving something better for yourself. The parts of you that are scared to be seen. The parts of you that are scared to mess up. The parts of you that are scared to be happy. What's holding you back from taking the first simple step of just declaring what you want? You have to declare it in order to get it.
And a few people in the chat room were saying that they were a little bit unclear on the point that you were making before. So just to be clear on that. So what Hannah and I were what she was trying to say was, you know, to take a really hard look at your life right now and what you have. You know, what is it that you want in your life, and what do you actually have? Because what you actually have in your life right now is exactly what you want. You know, we say we want to be happy, we say we want to be free, we say we want to, I don't know, like create a program, or we say we want to start giving Reiki sessions or whatever it is. But if you're not doing it, then you don't really want it. You don't really want it. Even though in the mind can say, no, but I want that. You know, it's like, you know, even as something as simple as like, you know, for me, it was like, I don't want to act from stress anymore. I want to create from peace and ease. But when you looked at my actions, I was creating from stress. So obviously that's what I was wanted. But when even Henna started to point it out to me, I was like angry because I was like, I don't want this. Like, it was the last thing that I wanted. But my actions were saying otherwise. So that's what we're saying. Get really honest. Because the mind can tell you, no, like, I really don't want this, but you keep doing it. And so it's just, that's what we're talking about, getting really honest first, because only until we admit it, and only until I admitted, holy crap, like, there's something I'm getting out of reacting from stress. It's this easy pattern. I get really anxious, and then like as soon as I like cry or like break down, then somebody comes to the rescue and helps me out. Like, you know, that might be what I'm getting out of it is, you know. Or even like in terms of like creating something, I had to get really honest that first I didn't want to create a project, or I didn't want to launch an online program, because the truth was is I was kind of lazy and just wanted to hang out at the beach every day. So until I admitted that like I just want to travel and have fun, like, and then as soon as I admitted that, like, I really sank into that. I was like, is that true? Okay, like, I don't have to create anything. I can just chill at the beach every single day. Does that feel good? And it was like, oh. Like there was this spaciousness from that honesty, from that authenticity, and then I was able to start to create like, no, actually, this is what I want more. Like this is what I want more. And like Hen and I can't stop like texting back and forth and like leaving audio voices because it's fun now. Like, you know, the alignment came to be able to get really, really clear. You know, and somebody asked, what if we start by working on global needs rather than personal needs? You know, this is a really good question because you can start with that. Like you could start to see like, what is it that I want to make a shift in the world? But the issue is that I've seen, at least with myself and with clients that I've worked with in the past, if you think too big, like I'm going to change the world and like this huge need, it becomes this huge, elaborate, big idea. But what are the action steps that you can take? So you can think big of like, where is it? But what can I do today? Like, what do I want to create? Like, do I want to create like a Facebook group page and actually start taking action on that? Like, what are those specific things that I can actually do to ground this in so it doesn't just stay up here, you know, in terms of that.
So I want to add something to that too. Um, and first and foremost, there's no needs. So even the idea about global needs versus personal needs is not accurate. So that in itself is coming from lack, and we do not create from lack anymore on this planet. So it's first and foremost getting clear on what is the belief that's making you think that anything needs to happen or that the world needs to be saved, because it does not need to be saved. It's perfect. It's perfect as it is. It's all happening as it wants to happen. So it's like letting go of that first, letting go of the part of you that thinks something needs to be different than what it is right now. Because any creation that comes from that space is going to create more of that, like something's not okay. So you're not actually helping the planet when you create from that space. So it's like, be really mindful of what's driving your words, what's driving your actions, what's driving your beliefs. Because where was that comment coming from? Who wrote that? Nights. Yeah, and it's beautiful. Like, thank you for sharing it. And it's a perfect opportunity for all of us to look into that. Like, what part of us thinks that we need to do something to help something? Like, nothing needs to be helped. It's just fun.
And I think like, you know, this really helped me as well, as I started to create. A lot of you might be familiar. I started a Sexplorations group page, you know, and I've been wanting to do this for a while, but I think in before, it was like what Hina was saying, it was coming from this lack of like seeing, you know, all of the sexual frustration and seeing the misalignment in sexuality and sex and all of that thing, and I never created. And once I finally like dived in to see, wow, everything's like, to really know that, like that it's really perfect, and to start to feel into that, then it was like from the spaciousness, from that space, it was like I just wanted to start it because I love talking about sex. Like that was it, you know, like I just have fun talking about it, and like it's just effortlessly like expanding, and now all of these things are being spoken to, and we're able to hold everyone in the perfection, and it's not trying to save anyone, it's not rescuing anyone, it's like you just hold that space of perfection, and then we just get to create from that space, and then yeah, it just keeps like rippling out in such a beautiful way.
So it's like first noticing where the comment is coming from, and then noticing the desires. So like I'm seeing Knights and I think Petra, you guys are more excited about creating like a united vision. So that's what your creation is going to be about. And so it starts as a personal desire. So you can't just be like, oh, well, I don't want to do this, but the planet needs this, so we all have to do that. There's no need, first of all, first and foremost. Second of all, like if that's not exciting for you, it's not going to be of service to anyone, because that energy is going to be rippled out. Any energy you put into any creation is magnified like infinity fold outward. So it's getting really clear about where you're starting first. And for you guys, like if what's more exciting is to, instead of thinking about changing your life or creating something in your life, and what feels more exciting than that is creating like a global vision of like, oh, let's do this together. So then you get to get really clear on what exactly that specific global thing is. Like what is it? What's the theme of that? What does it look like? What's the concept? What's the point of it? Like if there's a point, and getting really clear. And if that sounds exciting, then that's exactly what you can be creating. But it's about getting clear on that it sounds exciting to you first. So it always goes back to personal. It always goes back to personal because the global is created of a bunch of personal individuals. So it's like you have to start with the personal being excited. And that excitement will get more people who are excited on that same vision to come to you. So it always starts there. And it's like if you guys are excited about creating something on a global scale, like I don't know, it's general, or maybe you don't even know what that is yet, but then that's a perfect starting point for you guys to like tune into like yourselves and each other, maybe like brainstorm together about what that looks like and what that feels like, and start to get into like the feeling state of that and like the excitement of that, and start playing with ideas. And from that, more clarity will come, and then you'll play in that, and then more clarity will come, and it just happens that way. But maybe for someone else that doesn't sound that exciting. Maybe for someone else, just like doing something, I don't know, like creating a business for themselves, or it sounds exciting, so they get to follow that excitement. And like you're saying, nights, like it will just unfold itself. But it's like we all get to just give ourselves permission to follow what's most exciting to our hearts, and that's how it's going to unfold in the most epic way, like the highest timeline for all beings, because we're here to create the highest timeline for all, the most fun for all, the most ease for all, the most like joy and freedom and giggles and whatever for all, So it's like it starts with you. You are the all. And Petra, it does go back to self-realization if you want it to. It's like you are the one being. Like you are the one thing. So it's all about you. So your highest timeline is the highest timeline for every other supposed being that you see with your eyes. So your highest service is to love, yourself, and to love what you're creating, and to get clear on what you want and grounding what you want into reality. So for Nights and Petra, so if you guys want a bigger global vision, that's beautiful. So first, like, start to play with that and bounce that. Like Callie was saying, me and Callie, literally all we do is go back and forth on WhatsApp for like 5 hours at a time, just like playing with ideas and building on them and building on them and building on them, only just because it's fun. If it wasn't fun, then we don't even like do that. So it's just constantly following your extreme of excitement with the intention of creation, if that's what you're wanting. And then it's like, at some point, what we want to help support you guys with is like, okay, when we get into that flow of like, oh, this is a fun idea, oh, this is a fun idea, oh, how about this, let's actually make that happen like in reality. Because we're seeing that a lot in our community. It's like everyone talks about these beautiful, beautiful ideas, but not a lot of us are really taking action steps today to make that happen tomorrow. So let's start to make it happen. Like, let's start to create this new earth, Like, it sounds so exciting to all of us. We're all tuning into some bigger vision together. It's not my vision versus your vision, it's the vision of the whole. We're all tuning into that same vision. So it's like about getting practical, though, in a really fun way. Like, no boring anything, no like I need to do this, no like to-do list that sounds like shit. Like, we're not doing it that way. We're doing it a whole new way that's really powerful. So to do that, though, the first like thing that we need to look at is like, well, what's stopping us for even like declaring that we want to do something? Or what's stopping us from declaring what it is that we want? Or what's stopping us from even getting into a space where we can start thinking of ideas? And like, I'm just so grateful for Nights and Petra actually for making those comments, because it's what a beautiful place to start, So thank you guys for that. Like, let's all just start to like put out there, let's just voice what we want. So they want to do this. So then guess what? Like, anyone on this call who's interested and that sounded somewhat interesting to them, they're going to get in contact with Nights and Petra. And they're going to start to bounce ideas off each other. But before like all of that can happen, it's like, let's get real about what's stopping us from even letting ourselves like play in that space. I'm just reading these things on the side here. Kathy saying, I want to create a business for myself for the better of all. Yeah. So what kind of business? Like, what kind of business feels most exciting to you? Like, if you could share with the world in a way that creates it to be, better and ease and flow for all, like, what does that look like? So you start to play with that. Yeah, there's just a bunch of, I don't know if you want to read the comments, Callie. But yeah, so we're just inviting you guys to go into that space, and maybe that's what's being asked for. Like right now, it's like, let's just sit for 10 minutes or 5 minutes and just see, like, if I could create anything, like, what would that be? Like giving yourself permission to just dream and just go there. However absurd you might think it sounds, it's not absurd. It's coming to you for a reason because you're supposed to create that, and it's very possible. Otherwise, you wouldn't be excited about even dreaming of it. And if you don't have it, like Corey's saying, a specific creation, she doesn't have a specific creation. And that's perfect too. So it's like, well, do you have a feeling state of a creation that sounds fun to you? Can you just tune into like the fun that it would feel if you created something, even though you don't know what that is, or the freedom that you'll feel from it, or yeah, whatever feeling state. Then if you don't have a specific vision yet, just tune into the feeling state of what you prefer to feel. If you could feel anything all the time, like, what would your life feel like? And I invite you guys to then go back to last week's recording, because it's what we started to practice. It's like, what if you could feel anything and be anything? What would your life feel like right now? What would your best life feel like in this moment? Let's learn and practice to feel that right now, because that's how it comes to us. And that's a new way too. We don't chase anything, everything comes to us. We hold a frequency, and we hold our truth in our heart, and we know what's going to happen, and we are the center. We anchor that, and then life literally bends to love us in that way, to support us. So that's why it's always going back to being mindful. What space are you creating from? Is it a space of you need the planet to change, and that's why you're trying to create something? Because then what will be reflected to you is more of how the planet needs to change. You are that powerful. You are the one being. You are so powerful. So my deepest desire is for everyone to really, really understand that and to really feel that. You're so worthy of feeling that. You're so worthy. Can we accept it? Can we accept that we deserve to be loved and we deserve to have everything that we want? That life we're supposed to play? We can play, you guys. It's safe to play. Everything comes. We're so safe to play. I love you all so much. Like, I love myself. Like, you are me. And I'm so free in my being. And I want you all to feel just as free in yours. So what's holding you back? Let's get to the bottom of it. Callie and I were like so ready to go into it with you. Let's go. You're not alone in it. We're right here with you. Otherwise, we wouldn't be creating this. We're not getting anything out of these free meetings every week. We're not getting anything out of it. We just want to give to you. But it's like a two-way thing. It's like, we're here for you if you say yes to us, and then we can like change this together for you if you want that. Let's think bigger. Let's have more fun together. Like, so I went on a bit of a rant, but it was just coming from my heart space so much, and I want us all to start to have fun and thinking about what we want to create, so we can support you in that. Are we ready to let goodness into our lives? It's waiting. It's waiting for us to just say yes to it. Can you say yes to it? And we say yes by getting clear on what we want. So life can give us that. If we're not clear, what is life doesn't know what to give us. Life is waiting for us to get really clear on what we want so it can just give that to us. So I guess I was reading that, and you mentioned, Callie, that some people were just unclear on what the homework was. So maybe we can just like have that as a pinned post at the top, and maybe just even break it down further,
Yeah.
and even just work on like the first part of it instead of, because I wrote down the whole thing. So
Yeah, we can just start with getting clear of what you want and starting to
yeah,
share that with everyone. Because as you can see, even just in this chat, it's like, oh, Joshua tree, Joshua tree, Joshua tree. Like all these connections are just going to start to happen, and I really see, like, just like what Hina was saying, at least for me, I know, like, on my journey, it was like I wasn't giving myself permission to play. And for those of you who know me, like, that's all I am. Like, I'm just like a big bundle of love and like just wanting to play. But I always thought it wasn't good enough. Like, I got to do something bigger in the world, or I got to have this bigger thing, or like, but it's just like we all just want to play. And I can see the more that I just play, the more that I'm able to be of service. And the more that you play, then the more that you inspire others to play. And it's like, isn't that just all what we're here to do, anyways? Like, why are we here? Like, I'm kind of done with playing in the suffering and playing in all of that. It's like, wow, we get to choose, we get to create.
and what Petra's saying, she's saying if I don't get inner inspiration on what I want, and not get pulled to be creative, then I can't be creative. And that's perfect, right? It's like you can't force yourself to be creative. It's like you just let it come out. And so that's why we're creating this space. It's for the people who are in a space where their creativity is wanting to come out. And if it's not wanting to come out, then it's perfect. Like, you're exactly where you're meant to be. And it's also just like service to the whole. If your deepest desire is to go more into the self and to learn the self more, and you don't want to create anything on the outside, that's beautiful and it's so perfect. And that's like the biggest service, it's like let's get really clear on what space we're operating from. But what we feel excited about is offering a space for people who do want to start moving towards that direction. So it's everyone just follows their own excitement, and it just leads to more and more excitement. So
Maybe we can go in and really feel this in the space together then. Does that sound good?
yeah, maybe that's how we can just close it out. It's like just being okay with wherever we're at first, and then getting really honest, like, well, do we want to be like creating something, or are we actually okay with where we're at? And both are perfect. Just knowing that if we do want to create something, then you have this space. We're holding this space for you to support you in that. And if you don't, that's perfect too. But it's like let's get our honest answers, not answers that come from fear. And I'm not saying, Petra, that you're doing this. I'm just making a comment about clarity for us. So it's about getting really real with ourselves. Like, let's just tune in and get so real with what we're holding inside and what we actually want. And just notice in yourself, like, what's coming up for you right now? Does this feel good, or do you want me to like shut up secretly? Is there a voice that says, "Oh, just shut the fuck up, Hina"? Like whatever's coming up, like what's that resistance? If there is, or if there's an opening, then explore that.
And Kathy is asking, oh, we can should we create a brainstorm call and see what we can get going? And if you feel inspired to start something like that, you can post it, but then it's also, I see, at least for me, it was, why do I need to be with others in order to create? What is that? Can I do this alone? Am I dependent on Hina to create this? Like, if she wasn't here, would I still be doing this? And I had to come to terms with that. And I saw in the beginning there was a sense of attachment, even though I didn't see it and I didn't want to admit it. But there was this kind of needy energy of needing somebody else or needing the group or needing something else to get me to create. And so it was really beautiful to say, can I do this just for me? Can I just sit with myself and allow myself to dream and allow myself to feel into this higher frequency and to just keep amping it up and amping it up and just playing and having fun? It's like, we say we want creativity, we say we want this, but then are we doing that? Like, we can get on these kinds of calls, we can feel really good, right? Like at the end of the last week's call, people were like crying and having like huge realizations, but then what happens tomorrow? How long can you ride that? What is that? Where does that shift?
You said, yeah, Callie, you spoke to it so beautifully. And that's what our intention for this call was. I don't know how clear it is, but from our hearts, just wanting you to see, like, where does that shift? Like, you can ride that wave, how long you can ride it, but notice the moment it shifts. And then what is that? Investigate that. And that's also a good point. It's like we have to get to a point where we're so sovereign in ourselves and know that we are all of it and we can create whatever we want on our own, and then come together in groups. And so it's like when every being is powerful, then groups are even more powerful. But like each of us on our own, get to come into a place of that more and more. And so it's like, I know this process has already started. Like the 99 days has been so beautiful and so supportive in that. And it's like, let's just keep that going while we access our creativity. And if it's a genuine excitement to work with others, then you call that in. But it's first about getting clear about what you want to create. Because then those people who also want to create the same thing will just show up for you. Like, we can't keep relying on each other, It's like, we can rely on each other, but not get dependent on each other. You are you are like the whole being on your own. It's like owning that, what feels exciting to you, because knowing that excitement comes from like a higher just divine source that you are ultimately, but it's like coming through you, And then whatever comes through you and comes through you, if it ends up being like similar, then you guys are going to naturally sync up and create something really powerful. Like that's what happened with me and Callie, I on my own wanted this. She on her own wanted this. We came together, and then maybe some things like came up for you, Callie, how you were talking about like dependency and stuff. But then you know what? You work through it, and then you just become even more sovereign and even more of like more synced up. And it's a process, But let's get the process started. We love you too. Is it Jeroen? Is that how you say your name?
Yeah, I feel like this would be a perfect segue for us to just sink into the space together and create this space where we can just feel into this frequency and see what inspirations come up, to see if you want to play, to see, what you want to create. Allow that space for this clarity. And getting out of the mind needing to figure it out. And that we just get to feel it and play with it and have fun with it. if you
Okay.
want, you can feel free to close your eyes and remain with your eyes open. And just really dropping down into your heart with all that's been spoken. Tuning into this group field as well, this group frequency that we're holding to create. You can start to ask, what is it that I want? What brings me joy? What stops time? What brings me alive? Maybe something so simple. If you have a vision already, you can start to tune into that and start to feel what that feels like. Just feel it right here, right now. You can start to amp it up.
This is your service to the whole. You anchoring your truth in your being is your service to this community and your service to the whole. So we start with you. You are the anchor. It's safe to just be what you want to be. Can you just tune into that now? And if you notice it start to fade and you get distracted, catch that and come back. How do you want to feel? How do you want to feel?
And also ask yourself, as feeling into this, are you enjoying feeling? Playing with this? How can I soften and allow from this deep sense of peace? Trusting that all is perfect. And if for some of you, this thought is hard to grok, can you intuit that everyone is exactly perfect? That this world is perfect. Nobody needs saving or rescuing. From the sense of perfection, we just get to play. how do you want to play? And you really feel that. And if you need support, just tuning into this group field. You just completely surrender. Nothing to do, nothing that you need. Not needing anything from anyone, even yourself. You don't need to have a creation in this world. You don't have to do anything. We get to let go of that. It gets to come from a whole new space. Just simply for the fun of it.
So do your best to carry this peace with you into the rest of your day or into your night. Can you not hear me? Yeah, so just do your best. It just doesn't work. My headphones don't work. Yeah, just take it with you throughout your day, and leave yourself open to see what inspiration comes through. And if it doesn't, that's perfect. Just rest in peace. It's all perfect. Um, we're wanting to wrap it up because I think Nazra's live stream is in a couple minutes. But Karini, I saw you had your hand up, and please just post your question in the group, and we'll definitely address it there. And anyone else, like if there's anything that anyone wants to share, or me and Callie were even talking about, let's get specific with people. Like, let's see what you guys want, and then learn about the frequency of what that thing is, and we'll hold it with you. We can have like even like whole an hour here every week just to like hold certain frequencies with you, so you guys can access that feeling more and more. um, and we can just learn how powerful we are in just being able to hold frequencies. um, and so we talked about this last week. If you guys didn't see it, to go back and check out last week's recording. But our intention is really to get everyone in a space to see how powerful we are, that we can hold any frequency for any amount of time. We are that powerful, and from holding those frequencies is where our creation comes from effortlessly. So it's like learning how to manifest in a really powerful, effortless, like badass way. We're going to be so powerful on this planet as a whole when we can learn how to do this. So that's what our intention is for all of you. And if you have any questions or comments, please post them in the group. And we'll be sure to repost, um, just guidelines on how to get more clear and kind of where to first start with like just getting clear on what you want. So we'll repost. I think we'll pin it. Callie, let's just pin that at the top. Yeah. So we love you all so much. Thank you for joining us, and we'll do this next week too. As long as we have people that are showing up, we'll show up, and let us know in the group. Like if you have anything specific you want to go into, or if you want support on getting clarity on something, or if you want us to open up a topic for next week. Just we're just so going off of what you guys want from us. So thank you for being here, and we love you so much.
Yeah.
We'll see you
Keep
next week.
playing. Keep playing.